Okay, this is a tutorial on my favorite cube. I don't even know what this thing's called. I order them from China. And it's a regular Rubik's Cube, 3x3, but it is offset in how the cuts are. So the pieces, instead of colors, are different sizes. Now when I got it, I was really nervous it would be hard to solve, so I actually cheated a little and put a sticker on the top center piece. Turns out you don't really need that. It's pretty easy to figure out that piece, but it looks cool because it's a little metallic one. So the first thing you need to do is, instead of solving white, you want to solve the skinny layer. There's a skinny layer, a medium layer, and a large layer. And you can see that's skinny. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to bring up one of these pieces. And remember, anytime you want to bring a piece up, you put it underneath so that when it's up there, that's where you want it to be. And then you move it over to the side. You move the center down, bring it back over to where it was, and then bring it up, and you'll see I've done my first one. Now this one, they're smooth, so you know that it's actually ironically in the right spot, but I would have brought that up anywhere, and I would have just moved around until I saw that it was smooth. So I got my first piece. So you're going to do an X first and not worry about the corners. So I look for another edge piece. Here's a little one, and I want to bring it up. Now that's easy, I can just rotate it. But you'll see it's not in the right spot because these aren't even. It actually needs to go here. But I can't just slide it over because I will mess up the one over there. So I bring the center down, move it over, put the center back up, and move it back over because I'm going to want to put it here. Bring the center down, slide it over, put the center back up, and now I've got two. So now I've got, look for a third one, and here it is. And I can see it needs to go on this big one. You'll get good at recognizing the sizes. Bring the center down, slide it over, put the center up. You'll see I've got three, and there should be one more of those skinny pieces, and here it is. And I can't just slide it up because I will mess up that one. So I'm actually going to bring it down, slide it over, put that one back up, and then I tend to put it below where it needs to go. And you'll see there, it's where it needs to be. And then once I have it below, then I'll move it off to the right or the left, bring the center down, bring it back, put the center up, and now we've got a nice cross in the middle. And you know it's done because they're actually smooth with the other center on the sides. So now for the corners. Now corners on the first side of a Rubik's Cube are usually pretty simple. I want this one right here, so you put it below where it needs to go, and same thing, just move it one out of the way, bring that one down, bring it back, and bring it up. You'll see we've gotten two of them done. And then I'm going to look for another skinny one. Now here's one that's already up there. Obviously it doesn't go on that space, and this needs to be on the top. So I'm going to bring it down, get it out of the way. I'm going to look for where it goes, and it looks like it needs to go here, and you can see it does. So I'm going to move it over, move that down, move this over and put it up. And now I've got two edges. And where's another skinny one? Here's another skinny one. And the same thing, put it below where you think it needs to go. And you can see this one needs to go here. You can go up just to see. Once you see what it lines up, move it one over. And then bring this down, bring it back over. And this cube's really hard to move. You'll find it'll be in the middle of a move and it'll get messed up. So I only have one more piece for the top. Where's that skinny one? And there it is. So I'm going to bring that over. Now it's below where it needs to go, but it actually needs to be facing the other way. Now this is a kind of a simple fun move, but you need to change the orientation on that piece. And you rotate this, you'll see it changes the orientation over here. Move it two out of the way and put that back up so that now it is the right orientation for going up right here. So move it one out of the way, one down, one over, and now you'll see the top layer is complete. Now the next thing is to do the middle ones, these center edges. And what usually sometimes you'll get lucky and one of them will be done, but looks like they all aren't. So this is probably one of the trickiest parts because you have to, it's hard to tell the difference. But these really long ones go on the bottom, and you're going to look for one that goes in the center. And what I do is I go around, all right, this lined up, And you can see from this little edge, it's not belonging on the bottom. It's going to go on top. And so to see which side it goes to, I can just rotate up and see it lines up here. So this piece needs to go here. Now, there's an easy algorithm for moving the center pieces up. You put it where these match, and you want to go to the left, so you're going to move it 1 to the right. Okay, that just puts it in the starting position. Now this is an easy algorithm because you're going to move this down, you're going to rotate over and put it back up. You'll see that, move that piece down, and then all you do is put it right back up again. And the amazing thing is, when you put it back up, that piece is there. All right, don't worry, I have to show this to you 4 times, so you have plenty of time to get it. So move this one around until it lines up. And by kind of studying the shape, I can see it does not go in this long one, it goes right here. So because it goes here, I'm going to move it 1 in the opposite direction. If it needed to go here, I would move it that way. I'll move it 1 out of the way, and then you can move this down, slide that top piece over, rotate it back, and then you just have to put that piece back up. But you're putting it back up a different way, and when you do that, boom, there's that piece. Now let's look for another edge piece. Here's one. So I'm going to line that up till it's even. It's even here, and it's obvious it goes here because that one's already solved. So this time, since it needs to go to the right, I'm going to move the bottom to the left, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. Bring it down one way, put it up, and put it back up the other way, and boom, we have solved most of the second layer. I've got one more to do, and it looks like this piece. It's smooth, so I know it's right, and it needs to go up here. I can slide up there, and you'll see these are smooth, so that is the right spot. So since it needs to go to the right, move this to the left, bring this piece down and over, and when I put this back, you'll see it switches the orientation, and I'm just going to put it right back up, but using the other side, and boom, now we've got the top 2 layers done. Now for the bottom, it's the same as 3x3, where you need to start with a cross. Notice I only have 2 of them, and this is a fun move. I've got basically 2 blank rows, and when that happens, you put one of the empty ones on the bottom away from you. You're going to bring this top one down and over, and while it's in that position, you're going to slide the back over, and then you're going to simply bring it back, put the back up, and slide this back up. Now what that does is it creates your X. Now if there had been just these 3 and these 2 were off, then you would do the same thing, but you would do it twice. And so you would bring this down, over, back, over, up, and over, and you'll see now I've got a straight one. Now because you're bringing down and over and back, there's a little shortcut you'll get used to where instead of finishing it, you stop there, you just do it one more time, and that will bring it back. And oops, it looks like I goofed. Alright, so I've got to figure out what I did wrong here. I did something wrong. Okay, so where's my little one? There's that one, and I get to show you some of this again. So I'm going to bring this one back up, and it's hard to do this with the video camera. I'm going to bring this one back up to here, move it over, down and up. It's good to review. Oh, and we got lucky. I restored the second row. Keeps going to the side because iPhones film off to the sides. I have to remember to hold it over to the left here. So now we're going to do the bottom. This time I've got my L again. So I'm going to bring this one. I'm going to put the empty one. Whoops! Bring the empty one onto the bottom, and I'm going to do it the opposite way this time. Bring this back over, bring that back, bring it up, and you'll see I have my cross on the bottom. So that moves pretty easy. You're bringing this one down, and then sliding over, then you bring the back down. It is not affected, and then when you bring this back, you put the back up, and you get your cross in the bottom. Now the last stage, or second before last, the penultimate stage, is that you're going to want to change your corners. Now it doesn't matter where they are, you just want them in the right orientation. So you want them smooth. So I say I have 2 here that aren't smooth. Now this one, I can tell this piece needs to come up here. And it's really a simple move. It's you do the same thing twice. It's just 4 moves done twice, so it's 8 moves. And it's one of each possible move. So you're going to basically go down, over, and then do the opposite of those, and you're going to do that again. All right, you do that twice, and you'll see this one came up. Now this is the fun part of the cube, because if you were to look at the bottom, you'll see it's messed up. But all you're going to do is it'll correct itself when you're done. You rotate the top. You want to do this one. Now this one's on the right side that needs to come up instead of back, so it's the opposite. So instead of going this way, you're going to start on the bottom, and you're going to go 1, 2, and then the opposite of those. And you're going to do that twice, and that will make the bottom smooth. Now obviously they're not in the right corners, but then you just have to permutate the corners. So I look for 2 that are the same. Sometimes you'll get none of them the same, and you just have to do this move twice, but I got 2. So now I just need to swap these corners. And I do what I call a lie to myself. So in order to remember this, I do in, back, back, out, back, and then the right twice. But actually on the in, and the next one, out, it's actually out, in, out. But I lie to myself. Does that make sense? You'll see what I mean. It's in, back, and then it's out, but that's actually an in, back, and then you rotate the right. And when you've done that, boom, you'll see the cube is solved. So it's really not too hard. The moves you need to learn are making the cross on the bottom, which is, and you can just keep doing it. It'll work eventually if you do it enough times. You'll learn to do it backwards, but you move this one over, move the back down. This is a little tricky to move because of the shapes. Move this back, put it back up, and then change. And what that does is I undid it. I've got a straight line. If it's a straight line, let's see if I can do it this time without messing it up, where you go twice and then bring it up. And I've got my, let's see, I probably should have stopped the video while I was ahead. So there we go. And I messed it up. You know what? Forget that move, because I obviously cannot figure it out. Part of it, my excuse is I'm holding the camera. Here's a good one to learn. You notice it's in the right spot, but it's upside down. You can move it around, flip it all the way to the back, so that when you bring it up, it'll be in the right spot. And then you can bring that down and over. And then it's probably good to watch this a couple of times. I'm going to line this up. I'll see it does need to go there. So I'll move it over 1, move that down, move it up, and we're solved there. Now I need my cross on the bottom, and I've got 2. So I'm going to put the empty one on the bottom, and I'm going to do this one again from the opposite side, and move this back, and move this back, move this up, and I've got my cross on the bottom. And then to move this one up to here, it's basically the further away one because it's a tall piece. I go down, over, back, and you just do that twice, and you'll get to where you can do that without even thinking. And then you bring the next one all the way around. Don't worry that it's messed up. This one's going to go here, so I start on the right, and I do that twice. So I've got it all smooth. I see if any of my corners line up, and it looks like only one corner lines up. That just means you're going to do those swapping corners twice. So I go in, back, out, but it's actually in, back. That lie probably is going to confuse everybody, but it's just my way of remembering. So I line up the back so it's smooth. I got to switch these 2 corners, so I'm going to go in, back, out, which is really an in, back, switch to right. And now, oh, I didn't get to show you the final move last time because it was solved after I'd swapped the corners. Usually what happens is you've got to fix the edges. And this is a fun one. And it's pretty simple. You just look at which way you need to rotate them. Now, if all 4 are off, you're just going to do this move, doesn't matter where, and then you'll have one complete side. But I think this is a pretty easy one to remember. It looks like I need this big one to go here, this one to go here, and this one to go here. It'll either be clockwise or counterclockwise. And the way I remember it is, since this piece needs to go left, I remember the word left because you're going to use left twice. Otherwise, the move's the same, except if you're going this way, you would do right both times. So you're going to flip the front upside down and go left. That's where you got to remember the left. Then this is a fun move. You just basically bring down the 2 sides and flip it over and put those 2 sides back up. And this is where you need to remember that it was left, and then return the front that you started with. All right? Now let's say you wanted to go to the right. No, we went to the right, so we said left. Say you wanted to go to the right, then you would do left. So you would flip this one over and move this way. Okay? Then you're going to bring the sides down, flip it over, put the sides back up, and then you would go to the right again, and you would flip it over. Okay? So, and you actually can, doesn't matter which way you do it. If that confuses you, just remember this move, and then you just would do it twice instead of once. But if you can figure out the opposite ways of doing it, it makes it easier. So this one I want to go left, but you know what? I'm going to make it go right just to show you that if I go right and I flip these, I flip that over and I put those right back, and I go right again and over. I didn't do it, but I can do the same thing again. I can flip this over and go right. You can just always do it to the right if you want, and then go right, and again, it's solved. So I know that's not the greatest tutorial, but I wasn't able to find one on YouTube for this particular cube, so I thought I would make my own because I gave some of these away as Christmas presents this year. I think it's a great cube. You don't need to put that sticker there. That was just me trying to give myself a little edge when I learned it, but it turns out it's pretty easy to figure out which is the skinny center. So anyway, hope you enjoy this. Hope it's relatively helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks. Bye.